This is the start of a very special trip in a very special Aston Martin. We're outside Aston's F1 factory at Silverstone, but we're not here to drive Lance or Fernando's car. We're here to drive the closest thing to a road-going F1 Aston, the Valkyrie, and we're taking it to a track.
But we're not going to Silverstone. We've got an even more significant track in mind for this car. We're headed for Le Mans.
Why Le Mans? Well, for 2025, Aston Martin returned to endurance racing's top tier with the racing version of the Valkyrie, and once again raced for outright victory in the 24 Hours of Le Mans, scene of its famous 1-2 in 1959. We're retracing the 59 team steps for a feature in Evo magazine, and we've brought the cameras along to keep a video diary on the way.
So the downside of driving to France means you've got to do a big chunk of England first, including the M25 at rush hour, as luck would have it. So what's the Valkyrie like in the real world? Well, it's very loud. This V12 by Cosworth, naturally aspirated, maybe one of the world's greatest engines ever built, but you definitely know about it. It's basically bolted right to your back. You're wearing it like a backpack. So you feel the vibration through the seat and you get a lot of noise. So these noise cancelling headphones are basically essential. We're in urban mode at the moment, the kind of most road friendly setting. The suspension's really, really smooth. To give you an idea of just how loud this car is, right? I'm doing just over 2,000 RPM in 6th gear. I'm just going to take one ear off. Oh my God. It's so It's very, very loud, put it that way. And it revs to 11,000 RPM. It's pretty cozy in here. I'm pretty much average height, but my head is, it's not too bad actually. I've got enough space for a bit of head swing, a little bit of elbow room here, plenty of space for my legs. I've had to change to wear shorts, so apologies for my pasty legs on the camera, but the aircon occasionally needs to blow warm air if it cools elements of the powertrain and the drivetrain. It's a very, very hot day today, so I'm in a kind of goldfish bowl with aircon that isn't always totally cold, so I'm pretty toasty right now. I'm not sure I've ever driven a car that creates such a stir as this one. There's so much attention all the time. Every car that drives next to you, every pedestrian you go past, everywhere you park, instantly there's a flock of people around it. Even in this fairly kind of understated dark colour, this thing's just a complete magnet for attention. I feel a little bit self-conscious. I'm just trying to keep my eyes on the road and not make eye contact with anyone because, yeah, this is not a car to drive if you're a shrinking violet.
The Valkyrie is already the stuff of legends. You'll know most of its story already. Created in collaboration between Aston Martin and Red Bull, to blueprints by legendary F1 designer Adrian Newey, 150 coupes were built, plus further spiders and track versions, all sold out, despite a price of around £2.5 million for the coupe. Up until now, Evo's driven the Valkyrie only on track. This is our first taste of it on the road.
I wish this had windows you could wind down so I could hear what it sounds like in this tunnel. I mean, let's give it a little tickle just to see. It's so loud. From the outside, it sounds incredible. It sounds like an old generation Formula One car. From the inside, it's very, very resonant. It's a real kind of, almost a brutal experience driving this. Okay, M25, here we come. Forget Le Mans, I think this might be the Valkyrie's greatest challenge. Rather than wing mirrors, I've got two cameras either side and a main one here, which actually work really well. There's no window at the back, it's just a solid bulkhead.
The Valkyrie's stats are one thing, over 1,000 horsepower from the 6.5 litre V12 alone, plus another 160 or so from the electric motor, and a top speed limited to 224 miles an hour by the wheel speed sensors and gearing. With longer legs, its active aero could enable it to an immense top speed, But its magnetic presence is another thing entirely. On British A roads, it looks as out of place as a UFO landing at Heathrow.
One of the biggest challenges of driving this car on a dual carriageway is everybody wants to look at it. It's quite hard to change lanes, not because people are being awkward and don't want to let you out, but everybody alongside you is always taking a picture of the car. No one really wants to move because they've normally got a camera phone out filming what you're doing. It's almost a hazard because it's attracting so much attention. No one's looking at the road, everyone's looking at the Valkyrie. At very low speeds, because the Valkyrie is a hybrid, it actually drives around using the electric motor to drive the wheels. Right now, it's the engine driving the car. We're in 4th gear. It's when you're doing very low parking speeds that it gets around using the motor. But that drains the battery very, very quickly. So you have to keep an eye on the battery level all the time. You don't want to switch the engine off if it doesn't have quite enough charge, which is something I need to remember when I get onto the train carriage. We've made it into top gear for the first time on the M25, 7th gear just slotted home. It's not quite the Mulsanne straight, not yet. Well, that's leg 1 of the journey done. We've made it to the Eurotunnel, and the Valkyrie very much out of its natural habitat doing the M25 in rush hour, but you know what, it actually did really, really well. Apart from being very loud, it's actually a really tractable, really user-friendly car to drive once you're moving. Next step's France. We're going to let it off the leash a little bit and follow quite an interesting route. We're going to try and trace the roads as they were in 1959 when Aston Martin won the race. So some auto routes, some N roads, some rural roads. I'm really looking forward to it.
Everywhere we go, the Valkyrie attracts car spotters like moths to the brightest of lights. When we roll into the first petrol station on French soil, it's late at night, the shop is shuttered, but the forecourt is full of camera-wielding car fans who somehow know we're coming. This map is from 1959, the year that Aston Martin won Le Mans, and we're trying to follow the route to the circuit roughly as the team would have taken it then. We've had the luxury of taking the Eurotunnel. There'd have been cross-channel ferry back then, but a lot of the route then is kind of as it is now, a lot of auto route. This car was not designed for the motorway. It's about corners, it's about adventures, so we've come off the beaten track to get to know it a little bit better.
Well, we are well and truly into France now. We arrived off the Eurotunnel late last night, but now we're going. Let me use a few revs so you can really feel and hear what this thing's like. Here we go. And that's about a quarter throttle. The throttle pedal travel is so long. It's got this really long throttle pedal. And combined with this lovely natural aspirated engine, no turbocharging, beautiful linear power band, it just feels like it's going to rev to the moon. You put your foot down to where full throttle would be in a normal supercar, and this thing feels very, very quick. Then there's more, and more, and more. It just keeps going. Once it's warmed up, and you're in the right gear, it'll rev all the way to 11. And it honestly takes a little bit of mental commitment.
The Valkyrie feels narrower than most conventional supercars, so you can pick your own line through a corner and use more of the road. The pedals are set up so you can brake with your left or right foot, and before long, it feels natural to left foot brake right up to an apex. As you blend out of the brakes with your left foot, you're already feeding in the V12 with your right.
And the most mind-blowing thing of all is that it works on a road like this. This is a winding bit of N-road, bit of country road, fairly bumpy, it's not a smooth surface, and it's just lapping it up. Let me put it in sport mode for a moment so you can get a feel for that too. So the suspension's a bit lower. Sometimes you look in the mirror and see this huge rooster tail of dust being picked up through the diffusers and thrown into the air behind you. It's definitely a bit jigglier in this mode, but the suspension still works really well. I can't believe a car that's so racetrack capable can be so good on a B road. All the realms of normal supercars don't apply to this, all the normal metrics. My kind of internal database of all the supercars I've driven, it's all irrelevant. Nothing feels like the Valkyrie to drive. Once you're moving, it all makes sense. When you're at low speeds, when you're trying to, negotiate a car park and you're having to do a 5 or 6 point turn, when the aircon's blowing warm air at you because it's trying to cool bits of the powertrain, when your ears are ringing and you've got a headache. I'm not going to lie to you, a lot of this journey's been quite hard work. But as soon as you let the thing loose, as soon as you have the space to let it be a Valkyrie, let it do what it does, my word, this thing is just mind-blowing. You can listen to music through these noise-cancelling headphones, and it works pretty well. I must say, when I went to bed last night, my ears were ringing a bit, and they were still ringing a little bit the next morning. So today, I've been driving with extra earplugs underneath the cans. Oh, come on. There we go. I had a horrible feeling. It wasn't going to go into first gear then. The turning circle is not brilliant, like most motorsport-derived cars. So it takes a 3-point turn, it's more like a 5-point turn. But now we're going, let's go for an overtake. I wonder what we sounded like to the Picasso as we went past then. I wonder what it's like seeing one of these from another car. I've never driven a car that gets so much attention. Everywhere we've stopped, even in the middle of nowhere, suddenly there's 30 people flocking around you. If you want to make friends, an Aston Martin Valkyrie is quite a good icebreaker. A bit of a noisy one though. Fourth gear, it kind of hits a second wind. The torque is slightly limited in first gear, second gear. Third gear, you're still getting a lot of traction control intervention when you really put your foot down. In fourth, it's pretty much unshackled. There's a Renault Megane ahead of me and it's all over the road because the driver's eyes are glued to the mirrors just looking at this Valkyrie. I mean, it must look like a UFO landing behind him. And the really, really impressive thing about this car is that you can enjoy it at all road speeds. It's not just a one-trick pony. It's not just about high speed, high downforce corners. It's not just about long straights. When you look at the Valkyrie on the outside, it looks really intimidating. It's such a serious looking car. But honestly, yeah, it's a bit awkward at low speeds and parking and manoeuvring and stuff, but once you're moving, honestly, anybody could drive this car and would get so much enjoyment and so much fulfillment from it. It's such a together driving experience. You can drive it as fast as you want or as slow as you want. It gives you back exactly what you put into it. And it's just such a lovely, confidence-inspiring thing to drive. I really was not expecting this. I thought it was going to be the hardest of hardcore cars. And it's really not. It's like a sort of 1200 horsepower Lotus Elan. 80% of the time, the Valkyrie's quite hard work. It's hot, it's noisy, it's got a huge turning circle. Everybody in the world stares at you. You have to keep the engine running to make sure the battery's charged before you switch it off. But the other 20% of the time, oh my god. Yeah, This is a really, really special car, for sure. Okay, it is a very, very hot day, and I think an ice cream would go down quite well. Valkyrie versus McDonald's drive-thru, what could possibly go wrong? I'm willing to bet this is the first time this has happened. Okay, here we go. Let's give this a go. Are we gonna make it? I'm terrified of crunching this. And it's not just a case of curving a wheel, it's a case of curving some very expensive carbon fibre. I think I'm gonna have to go back. The slowest drive-thru in one of the world's fastest cars. Let's keep going. Bonjour, un Magic McFlurry, s'il vous plaît. Un McFlurry? Merci. Oui, chocolat, s'il vous plaît. Pardon, je ne parle pas français. Okay, let's wait a few seconds so we can get it in gear. Here we go. No, need to wait a little bit longer. Let's try now. Okay, first gear. Nothing is quite straightforward in Valkyrie. I think I'd be less stressed actually qualifying at Le Mans in this car than I am going through a McDonald's drive-thru, in all honesty. Merci beaucoup, au revoir. Success. In gear, handbrake off, let's go. And let's close the door for a bit of privacy.
One of the Valkyrie's biggest drawbacks is just how thirsty it is. I lose count of the number of times we stop for fuel between Silverstone and Le Mans. It's almost like planning a journey in an EV with range anxiety. The lowest fuel economy figure on the trip computer during the journey is 4 mpg, and the highest 19. And if you're wondering where my suitcase is, by the way, I had the luxury of stashing it in the camera car, otherwise it would be on the passenger seat. Well, we're nearly at Le Mans. We arrived here at the hotel late last night and the car caused quite a stir. Everywhere you go with the Valkyrie, the moment you stop, suddenly a crowd magically appears. We chose to stay here at the Hotel de France, about 40 kilometers south of Le Mans, because back in the 1950s and 60s, this is where the Aston Martin factory team based themselves for the race. The cars were worked on right here at the back of the hotel, and it clearly brought them luck in 1959 because they won the race. Our next stop is the track itself, so we'd better get going. Actually, just before we head to the track, I just want to show you this quickly. This is the alleyway down the side of the hotel where the team worked on the cars back in the day. And actually with Evo's photographer, Aston Parrott, we've just recreated one of the old archive shots with two of the Aston Martin Valkyrie engineers working on the car. As settings go, it's pretty photogenic, but now we really do need to get going and get to the track. When you're not going for it, the Valkyrie is a genuinely calm experience. The steering is responsive but beautifully measured, and although the gearbox is a motorsport-style dog box, it can slur through the gears smoothly, like an auto. The reclined seats are genuinely comfy, a bit like lying in the bath. After a couple of hours though, you do begin to feel a bit numb. You can listen to podcasts and music through the earphones, but you need to crank the volume to compete with the powertrain. It is a user-friendly car, but everything's relative. At all speeds, at all times, this is an intense car to drive. Wow, that was quite intense. The more I drive this car, the more I'm slightly blown away by it. And fairly knackered, let's be honest. It's a long way from England to Le Mans. We're a long way down France now, and I'd be lying if I said I wasn't a bit tired, so now feels like quite a good time for a breather. Let me hop out and talk you around this incredible car. Let's just take a moment to take in the Valkyrie as an object, because it's such a three-dimensional thing. I mean, so much of its shape, of course, is shaped by aerodynamics. Your feet are actually raised slightly higher than your hips to make way for these huge aerodynamic channels underneath the car on all these front wing elements, some of them active to do their job. As well as being raised, your feet are also kind of pointed to the middle of the car. It's almost like a single-seater Formula car to make space, again, for this incredible pinched-in, huge aero channels down here. As we go around to the back, you can hear the car kind of, it's like a living, breathing organism. It's constantly kind of ticking, whirring as all of its active systems settle. And in fact, the longer it stays here for, the more it's going to sink down in its suspension as the hydraulic system settles. Eventually, it'll be almost difficult to get my hand between the wheel and the arch. The most dramatic view of all is right at the back. You can see all the way through from the rear of the car to the front through these huge kind of cavernous arches, letting the air get pulled through to create all that downforce. It's pretty hot back here. The exhaust is kicking out a lot of heat even now, and it's pretty warm in the cabin too, but as much as I'd like to keep having a breather, we need to press on. As we get nearer to Le Mans, we take a detour to drive the sections of the track that double as public roads. It would be rude not to. Even among trucks and traffic, it's a goosebumpy thrill to see the Mulsanne straight unfold through the Valkyrie screen, and to skim the apex curbs through Arnage and Indianapolis. Quite literally within minutes, a host of car spotters turn out, and Instagram later is full of footage of the Valkyrie as we pull up to the circuit gates, into the pit lane, and onto the track itself. We filmed this video before the 24-hour race took place, and we arrived as the track was being prepared, with workers in overalls painstakingly painting the blue and yellow curbs. But we have the empty start-finish straight and the Dunlop Bridge to ourselves. The sense of atmosphere is off the scale. Well, we made it all the way to Le Mans, and what better place to conclude this journey than underneath the iconic Dunlop Bridge. Tantalisingly, we can't turn any laps here at the track because they're prepping the circuit for the upcoming 24-hour race. But we did drive the Valkyrie on the public road sections of the circuit, the Mulsanne Straight, Indianapolis, Arnage corners, and it felt absolutely at home there. We've really taken this car out of its comfort zone on this trip. We've driven it all the way from the East Midlands to Le Mans. It hasn't missed a beat. We've street parked it in sleepy French villages, and it's coped with pretty much everything we've thrown at it. I am now slightly deaf. I might have light heat exhaustion. You really do become a part of the Valkyrie as you drive it in every sense. Some of that heat and vibration coursing through the components also courses through you. But it's left me with some incredible memories. In the meantime, I'm off to catch up on some sleep.